Knock, knock, knock. Big Jim, are you home? We're here for our workout. Today I'm joined poolside with my good friend, Mike Fitch.
Hello.
And we're here to talk about all things Big Jim.
I'm Big Josh, and Big Jeff, and Big Jake, and Big Joe, all the big J's.
Mike is the owner of a fabulous whatnot shop in North Hollywood called Eclectica.
Instagram Eclectica NoHo. I'm on Lancashire and Burbank Boulevard in the Valley.
And Eclectica has an eclectic array of all kinds of things, from old vintage clothing, hilarious, glamorous fashions, costume jewelry, old books and magazines, and then, of course, toys.
Toys and art and vintage stuff, some new collectible stuff, but mostly old stuff. These guys are old. These are from the 70s. I had these when I was a kid. Half of them are still buried in my backyard.
When I told Fitch about the channel and our celebration of all things Motu and He-Man and the early incarnations of our muscle hero, Big Jim, and he told me that he had a bunch at the store, I said, we've got to do our collab. So Big Jim was the precursor to Mattel's He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, being sort of the original big hunky hero. Now, he was not quite the same ridiculous physique that He-Man went on to have. He was fit, but still within human expectations. And a lot of the Big Jim sort of storylines and imagery was just a little bit beyond like a G.I. Joe, just a little bit beyond a soldier, and a little bit more into the fantasy and sci-fi, almost sort of a James Bond.
The big thing about Big Jim was the panel in the back underneath that when you press it, he has real like karate chop action. When he came in the box, he comes with boards to break and different things like that. So definitely all about the karate chop action.
And the gimmicky sort of action features were then very popular when Mattel made the Masters of the Universe line. And so we had chopping hand action that Jitsu would then have, and big fist action that Fisto would have. And so all of that sort of gimmicky action came originally from Big Jim, including some of the iconic designs too. So our good friend Skeletor with his monstrous skull face was actually, there was a villain in the Big Jim line that had, Captain Drake, I think was his name. He had a monstrous skull face too. And the sort of cyborg Trapjaw with his mechanical jaw, Big Jim also had a villain called Iron Jaw that then sort of became the inspiration for our Trapjaw. But the most sort of famous in the fan base and the most iconic reuse of Big Jim molds and toys for the He-Man line came in the animals. So the lions that were in the Big Jim line were then way too big to be lions in Eternia, but they figured, hey, it's a magical land, anything goes, they'll just be giant tigers that He-Man and Skeletor will ride around. So Battle Cat was the steed that He-Man rode, and they took the lion mold and they painted it with ridiculous green and yellow stripes and gave it some armor so that it would be ready for battle. When He-Man was ready to battle, Skeletor, who would ride in on Panther, and Panther was that same mold, only they flocked him. So he's fuzzy, purple and fuzzy and monstrous. Grrr. And then they had the birds. So the falcons. We had the good falcon Zoar, who was also sort of the familiar of the sorceress. And then there was Screech, that was the evil bird that would be with Skeletor sometimes and sometimes with Evil.
And look, he's even got a push button to mock up he's got the wings flap, he's got the arm flap.
The little gimmicky action made it so much fun to play with because it's like they came alive in your hands.
Your toy's got to do something.
The Big Jim Kung Fu Studio is an absolutely awesome playset where Big Jim and his buddies can work out and train and get ready to beat the bad guys. And it comes filled with all kinds of awesome action features.
The Kung Fu Studio comes with breakaway walls. Ha! Watch out, Big Jim's coming through. Ha!
So Mike brought over his Big Jim play set, which is just absolutely amazing.
It is the Big Jim Kung Fu Studio.
The Kung Fu Studio.
Training in karate, judo, kung fu, and kendo.
And so it's just where Big Jim and all of his heroes can hang out, work out. They've got their little dumbbells here for exercise. Better get my curls in.
But he can actually chop this board. Oh, see, he did it.
Sometimes you needed your imagination to kind of finesse the action a little bit.
Yes. And then your barbells. Of course, he can lift his barbells then. Nice exercising work there.
So if you don't feel like doing your workout, you can just have Big Jim do the workout for you.
Yeah.
And they've even got an awesome like locker room and a medical supply. Barbie, eat your heart out. All right, you guys, who's up for their workout? I know Trapjaw is. So Fitch, welcome to the Poolside. Thank you so much for coming over today. And thank you for bringing your amazing Big Jim collection, all of which is available at Eclectica. I'm so impressed by like all the different types of guys that they had. They had different looks, different hats, different outfits. They had some different races, a little bit skin tones. You got some guys with beards. You got some guys with the long hair, the rooted hair. What's your favorite of the Big Jim characters?
I think Big Jeff is my favorite. He's in just like different clothes. He doesn't come in this, but he presented as like a surfer or beach boy. There's also like a mountain man version of him also that comes in the whole mountain gear. And if you look at him, it's really interesting that they consciously made a decision to make him look older. Like they made a lot of the Big Jims 40-year-old men, not just like 25-year-old men, which I thought is really interesting that a good third of their dolls were older dolls, which is kind of funky. You know, I thought it was unusual. I've never seen a doll do that, like an older version.
No,
of
like a middle-aged action star doll.
Yeah.
It's awesome, and it gives young kids the sort of the imagination to just imagine themselves being an action hero at any age, and you never get too old for action and adventure.
Yeah, and this guy's cool with the long rooted hair. He's definitely like I think he was like an Indian because his hands are different from all the other Big Jims. I think they're for bow and arrow shooting and axe throwing and things like that. So it definitely made him with specific skills in mind because they changed the hands up.
Maybe we can be on the quest for the missing accessories, that missing bow and arrow. That would be an awesome find. And we do love rooted hair. Come on, Mattel.
Yeah.
Bring back the rooted hair. We got a whole lot of She-Ras waiting to be made, and they all want that rooted hair. All right, lazy bum. Get off the couch. It's time for your workout. Big Jeff says, I've had it. I'm over it. Let's get out of here. So thank you so much, Mike, for joining us today. Thank you, Big Jim, for hanging out with us and He-Man. We had an amazing, fun day by the pool today. We got in a good workout. And remember, if you are in North Hollywood, be sure to visit Eclectica
on Lancashire Boulevard, Lancashire and Burbank Boulevard,
for all of your antiquing needs and your toy hunting. Thanks again. Thanks for watching. Good journey. And Big Jim and Big Jeff want to remind you, if you like what you see,
subscribe.